football. I didn't have my slideshow ready to go. Oh, welcome to the Week 3 edition of Fantasy Football News. I am your supremely wise and humble host, Eric. A ton of action this week as the Columbia River League saw scores shoot through the stratosphere, and the Outcast League added a new team to the winners column. All that and much more coming up. But first, a minor change. League dues for the Columbia River Fantasy Football League will be due by the end of Week 9's Monday night game. That game will take place on Monday, November 6th. I have added a week as I believe it gives some folks an opportunity to split the cost between 2 months. Please ensure that dues are paid either myself or Co-Commissioner Frazier by that time to guarantee continuity of scoring. We both accept Cash, Venmo, and Cash App. I also accept PayPal and Facebook Pay. DM me for payment details. On to the news. First up, the Outcast League. The Week 4 contest in the Outcast League was highest scoring bench player. Congratulations to Jake, who manages 49.3 points on his bench with Devin Achan. More on this decision later. The Week 5 contest will be highest combined defensive special teams kicker score. Good luck to everybody but Connor. Week 4 was a week for high-powered offenses to really show their stuff, and this translated over to fantasy as we saw all but one match decided by more than 22 points. Speaking of matches, our first match this week is Team Sesh versus Show Me Your Kittles. Show Me Your Kittles led by 69.2 points after Sunday, while Team Sesh had 2 players to go, Mike Evans and Evan McPherson. Show Me Your Kittles held on to that lead after Monday night's game despite a spirited effort from the wide receiver and kicker, with McPherson dropping 20.4 points. Team Sesh was unable to compete in this one as Show Me Your Kittles maintains their league-leading efficiency with a 95% rating this week, starting 3 players that scored above 35 and another that was just under 30. With offensive weapons like this and the ability to field them consistently, Show Me Your Kittles will be hard to beat down the stretch. Final in this one, Show Me Your Kittles 170.7, Team Sesh 136.4. Next up for Show Me Your Kittles is Mongo Mentality, while Team Sesh will square off with Randall Access Memories. Our next matchup this week is Timinators versus Rebel Scum. At the conclusion of Sunday's games, Rebel Scum was holding on to a comfortable 33.85 point lead. Timinators pinned their hopes of a comeback on A.J. Brown, who managed a decent 17.6 points, but that was not nearly enough as Rebel Scum also had Tutu Atwell playing on Monday night. Rebel Scum manages their first win of the season against the ailing Timinators, who are trailing the lead in efficiency, managing only 71% of their total possible points this season. Timinators will need increased production from virtually their entire starting roster if they hope to salvage this season. Final score here was Rebel Scum 116.6, Timinators 85.15. Rebel Scum plays the fantasy football team in Week 4. Timinators will battle the Ball Hawks in the Brother Bowl. Next up is Randall Access Memories versus Stars and Stripes. Despite having Jalen Hurts and Jamar Chase left to play on Monday night, this matchup was all but over as Ram held a 74.4 point lead. Stars and Stripes did manage to close the gap to just 29.65 points on decent play from their 2 remaining, but Ram held on thanks to running back Raheem Mostert's amazing 41.7 point performance. Stars and Stripes left 52.55 points on the bench in this Week 3 loss. Better decision-making from Coach Mike will be needed in the future. Rumors are already swirling that the Stars and Stripes front office is exploring their options. Final here at Patriot Field is Randall Access Memories 125.6, Stars and Stripes 95.95. Ram will move on to face Team Sesh in Week 4 as Stars and Stripes visit Saints for Life in the Daddy-Daughter Bowl. Speaking of Saints for Life, they faced off against the Ball Hawks in our next match. A 39.45 point performance from QB Tua Tagovailoa was the highlight of Saints for Life's 22.35 point win over the Ball Hawks this week. 4 other players over 10 points did not hurt the defending champs' chances either. The Ball Hawks have yet to see a breakout talent at the quarterback position, deciding to start Russell Wilson in Week 3, who managed only 19.3 points. An offseason trade with Rebel Scum seems to have blown up in both teams' faces, as Justin Fields is not looking like he did at the end of last year, and we all know where Aaron Rodgers is. Saints for Life holds on Monday night to win this one 129.65 to 107.3. Saints for Life moves on to host Stars and Stripes, while the Ball Hawks will host Timinators. Our final matchup here in Outcast was the Fantasy Football Team versus Mongo Mentality. The closest matchup this week still managed to see the Fantasy Football Team manage an 18.35 point victory over Mongo Mentality. The Fantasy Football Team led by 11.25 with 2 to go, Jake Elliott and the Philadelphia defense. On the other side, Mongo also had 2 to go, Joe Mixon and Devontae Smith. Mongo was unable to close the gap in this one as his duo managed only 18.3 points to the Fantasy Football Team's 25.4 point Monday night performance. The Fantasy Football Team wins this one 145.25 to 126.9. They will face off against Rebel Scum in Week 4, while Mongo Mentality will travel to the Kittle Dome. That'll do it for Week 4 Outcast League Report. Stay tuned for a word from our sponsors and our special segment.
Hot dogs. They're as American as baseball and apple pie. But what makes a hot dog more than just a hot dog? Introducing the Happy Hot Dog Man. It brings ordinary hot dogs to life, making lunchtime more fun. Just put your hot dog into the Happy Hot Dog Man and close the lids. The Happy Hot Dog Man makes a happy imprint on your hot dog. Now you're ready to cook it into a fun Happy Hot Dog Man figure that can be decorated and eaten.
It's like a toy you can eat.
Add ketchup, mustard, relish, cheese. Make them any way you please. The Happy Hot Dog Man is so easy to use, kids can do it.
Happy Hot Dog Man is awesome.
Take your family's food from boring to scoring. Make it a game to dress your dog the best and vote which one is the wiener.
We all end up acting like kids at dinner.
We love Happy Hot Dog Man.
Hey everybody, Frank here to talk about wieners. Who was a fantasy football wiener here in Week 3? Now Jake, over in the Outcast League, left 49.3 points on his bench by sitting Devon Achane, a move that cost him the victory. Jake is a fantasy football wiener. Over in Columbia River, Marcus made the same error, costing himself 58.1 points and the win. Marcus is a fantasy football wiener. Randy chose to start Danny Dimes and Tyler Lockett over Joe Burrow and DK Metcalf in his loss to Rebel Scum. Randy is a fantasy football wiener. Ha! That will do it for me, Frank, this week. I thank you for listening, and I will catch up with you later. All right. Thank you for that, Frank. On to our Columbia River League coverage. It was Dan Marino week, and Eric was leading after Sunday with Justin Herbert throwing for 405 yards. Could one of the Monday night quarterbacks topple Eric's winning streak? The answer to that question was a resounding no. This stretches Eric's winning streak to 3 weeks, and we'll see the Commissioner's bounty carry over to Week 4 as we celebrate Seahawks legend Jerry Rice Week. The highest scoring wide receiver will win it for his team this week. On to the matches. First up is Art of Dual Threat versus Sweet Nuts. This one was wrapped up early as Sweet Nuts held a 54.95 point lead after Sunday's matches, while the Art of Dual Threat had no remaining players to go. A 44.05 point performance from number 1 pick Pat Mahomes was the highlights of Sweet Nuts weekend. However, he still managed impressive performances from Zach Moss and Ken Walker in this 64.55 point beatdown of the beleaguered Art of Dual Threat. Managing a 90.4% efficiency rating this week was still not enough to net the win here for AJ, leaving 16.9 points unscored with CJ Stroud on his bench. This differential would not have overcome the blowout here in Week 3. Final score, Sweet Nuts 224.15, the Art of Dual Threat 159.6. Week 4 will see Sweet Nuts hosting Rebel Scum, while the Art of the Dual Threat will host the Short Bus Superstars. Our next match this week is Short Bus Superstars versus Corey Cash. The Short Bus Superstars were leading after Sunday, but by just 5.85 points, and looking for their first win on the season. Unfortunately, Corey Cash had Matthew Stafford left to play on Monday night. Stafford did not look good on Monday night, but was still able to string together 23.2 points to crush the SS dreams of a win. Devontae Adams led the scoring for Corey Cash with 45.9 points, while the SS was led by Deshaun Watson, who managed 36.9 points. Corey Cash moves to 3-0 on the season after winning this one, 215.05 to 197.75. Corey Cash will move on to face Killa MC in Week 4 as the SS battles the Art of Dual Threat in the meeting of the only two winless teams. Up next, we have Stars and Stripes versus Killa MC. Killa MC held an 18.2-point advantage in this match heading into Monday night, and it appeared they had the win locked up with four players remaining on Monday night versus only 3 for Stars and Stripes. Killa MC's 4 remaining players managed just 50.7 points on Monday, as Stars and Stripes' 3 remaining players posted an 80.85-point total to clinch the comeback victory here for Stars and Stripes. Next up for Stars and Stripes will be a home matchup against Rajlock, while Killa MC will host Corey Cash. Our next match, Rebel Scum versus the Generic Football Team. In another game that featured a Monday night come-from-behind victory, Rebel Scum defeats the GFT 207.4 to 197.05. For Rebel Scum, quarterback Justin Herbert was lights out, amassing 405 yards and 3 touchdowns on his way to a 54.7-point performance. Solid performances from the RB Corps were also a welcome sight on the Rebel Scum roster this week. The GFT, as we heard earlier, made a duo of dubious decisions that cost them 22.2 points and a victory this week. Next up for Rebel Scum is a trip to the SAC to face off against Sweet Nuts, while the GFT will host Garbage Time. Our final matchup this week was a nail-biter, as Team Rajlock hosted Garbage Time in Mike's Game of the Week. And due to numerous complaints, we have eliminated the music for the Mike's Game of the Week segment. Apparently, it's just too long for you folks. I'll try and come up with something shorter. Garbage Time had to be feeling comfortable heading into Monday night as he held a 39.6-point lead and still had rookie sensation Puka Nacua to go. It was not to be, however, as Rajlock had absolutely massive days from Raheem Mostert and Keenan Allen, totaling 101.7 points between them, a 42.6% share of Rajlock's total score. Lack of effort was not the downfall of Garbage Time this week, as they left nothing on the bench, scoring 100% of their total possible points in the lone perfect efficiency rating in Columbia River this season. Rajlock takes the come-from-behind victory here with a league record 238.25 points to Garbage Time's 230.75. Next week, we'll see Rajlock on the road to Patriot Field as they face Stars and Stripes, while Garbage Time heads to the Generic Stadium to face Randy and the Generic Football Team. And now, we have our new segment, Waiver World.
It's Waiver World. It's Waiver World. It's pickup time. It's excellent. It's Waiver World. It's Waiver World. It's pickup time. It's excellent. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. Pickup time.
All right, in Waiver World, lots of movement on waivers this week. Let's dive right in. In Outcast, the Ballhawks have added Tony Jones Jr. and Devontae Parker. Rebel Scum has added Brandon Johnson, Kylan Granson, and Cavante Turpin. Saints for Life has added Trey Sermon, Brandon Aubrey, and the Kansas City defense. And finally, Randall Access Memory has added Trey Palmer and the Tampa Bay defense. Meanwhile, over in Columbia River, the Art of Dual Threat added Cortland Sutton with a $16 bid over Garbage Time. The Short Bus Superstars acquired Calvin Austin with an uncontested $10 bid. The Generic Football Team picks up Josh Palmer with an uncontested bid of $10, as well as Romeo Dobbs and Matt Breida, both with lone $1 bids. Killa MC grabs the Chiefs defense with a $1 bid over the Art of Dual Threat. Remember, in the case of tying bid amounts, the waiver then goes by waiver priority, which can be found next to your waiver budget in the standings screen. Moving on, Sweet Nuts obtains Gus Edwards and David Njoku with $1 bids, and finally, Garbage Time procures the Cleveland defensive unit for a $1 bid. That is it for Waiver World this week. And that will do it for the Fantasy Football News. I thank you for tuning in. Remember, I have scheduled a Sunday night football party for October 8th. I am currently scheduled to be in a work meeting until 5 p.m. that day, so the scheduling may be a little tight, but I still intend to host. Please come over at kickoff at 5:20 p.m. for burgers and what hopes to be a great game between the Cowboys and 49ers. All are welcome. DM me for details. That will do us here for Fantasy Football News this week. Good luck in Week 4 to everybody but Kip. and Connor. And remember, at Fantasy Football News, we're better than you.